Our world, our communities, the places we knew so well have all changed in a matter of months. As COVID-19 continues to sneak through our communities, we're all in pursuit of answers. Today we're talking everything COVID-19. Let's check in with the chapter to see how Gamma Pi has been responding to the pandemic. Then we'll dive into the ways that the county is helping out its small businesses. Finally, we'll get information on Gamma Pi food drives around the county, where you can go and how you can help. That and more is coming up next. Hello, this is Community Uplift, and I'm Denise Smith. Today we begin with our eyes focused on fighting COVID-19 right here in Prince George's County. Our first guest is here to tell us all about how the Prince George's County Qs are operating during these difficult times and how things have changed for them. Our first guest is the Basilisk of Gamma Pi, Stephen Walls. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Denise. Hi.
How are you?
Doing good.
Good. So let's get right into it. Gamma Pi has been really busy. You've got food drives going on throughout the county during this pandemic. Why don't you tell us about that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. It seems like we've gone into the food pantry business. We've organized and led about 16 weekend drop-off food giveaways throughout Prince George's County. We started in Suitland High School, and we did 2 there, and then we went to Largo. And the most recent one that we had was this past Saturday, July 18th at Athletic Republic, where we partnered with the National Panhellenic Council organizations in the county. And that was from 11 to 1. And we also had COVID-19 testing on site. So that was a plus, and that was a new feature that we've had to our food giveaways.
Oh, wow.
We've given away close to 8,000 meals to families, and we've also given away over 1,200 Chromebooks to PG County residents. And we've had so many different partners. We've been blessed to partner with Friendship Charities Foundation Incorporated, which is one of our philanthropic arms in the chapter, Galilee Community Development Corporation, located in Suitland, Maryland, Athletic Republic, Metalworks, St. Paul's Church, of course, the Capital Area Food Bank, which has supplied a number of the food drives over the past weekends that we've participated in. Pitt Sports, DeMatha High School Athletics, big thanks to Coach Mike Jones, varsity basketball coach at DeMatha High School, and the DeMatha moms for helping us. We partnered with the Victor Oladipo Foundation and the Sharon and Jeremy Foundation, and had a giveaway at DeMatha. So we've been pretty busy with the food pantry.
Yeah, sounds like it. Sounds like it. What else have you been up to social action-wise during these challenging times?
Well, as a number of other organizations have faced, the pandemic has kind of stopped our in-person social action and philanthropy projects, but technology has allowed us to continue on with a number of them. We've had our Project Enrich college preparatory program, which is a program that we've had for well over 25 years that helps to prepare high school students in Prince George's County and their families for college. Now, they got the shock of their lives as well as we did when the pandemic hit and the quarantine started, but through technology, using Zoom video conferencing, they were able to hold the annual essay contest and the final closing program on Zoom. And big thanks, many thanks to our program director, Brother Willie Hines, and his team, because without using technology, we would have had to cancel the rest of the year. Right. And these students, especially our graduating seniors, would have missed out and have had another lack of an opportunity to be presented to our community as outstanding rising students. That closing ceremony is also available on the Project Enrich website at www.projectenrich.org. And given our focus on civil unrest and social justice, we've actually started to kind of wade into those waters as well to inform the community. We recently had a Zoom video dialogue on police community relations, and we're going to form alliance with the Divine Nine organizations to address these from a higher level through our legislative committee. So that's some of the things that we've been doing since we've been on break.
Just some. It sounds like you're pretty active. You're moving forward, business as usual, just in a new way, right? You hear the term of organizations having to pivot into new directions. This time has been an eye-opener for people who have had to create backup plans, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how have you been adjusting to the stay-at-home orders, and the public health restrictions that have been put in place during this time?
Well, like the rest of the world, we've had to heavily rely on technology to keep the business of Gamma Pi and Omega going. So we've been having Zoom chapter meetings since April, and as we look forward, we're going to continue to have Zoom meetings as we restart after the summer break. One of the benefits of the video conferencing is that it's allowed a number of our members who otherwise wouldn't have been able to come out to a meeting on a Saturday evening to be able to attend. So one of the benefits has been the level of attendance that we had. We've also had our what we call our district conference. We belong to a 5-state organization called the Second District, which composes the states of Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey. And we had that conference in May virtually instead of what it was planned for, physically going to Pittsburgh. And we were blessed enough to win the retention chapter of the year.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And literally yesterday, we just finished our virtual 82nd Grand Conclave. That's our international conference that we have biannually every 2 years, where members all across the world come to conduct the business of Omega. So,
okay. How's your first year been as being bossless of the chapter? I mean, how does it feel to know that you're going to go down in Gamma Pi history as the pandemic bossless?
I don't know if that's something I'd like to go down for, but it is what it is. But it's been a great first year. Great first year. I've appreciated all of the support from the brothers near and far. I just got reelected in June for a second term, so we'll be riding this rodeo once again.
Okay.
It's been a kind of a surreal whirlwind experience because nobody, of course, expected the pandemic or the impact and the events that have happened and the impact that it's had, and certainly how it has impacted our community. But as we mentioned before, we've had to become agile and demonstrate how we can respond to the new normal and show that we are indeed a chapter of the fraternity.
All right, Stephen Walls, Ambassadors of the Prince George's County chapter of Omega Psi Phi. Thank you for joining us today.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Sergeant Michelle Garcia served meritoriously in Iraq and has the medals to prove it. Corpsman Richard Stokely took the skills he learned in Vietnam and put them to good use as a paramedic. But soon after leaving the military, these veterans faced homelessness. Even after Michelle lost all her savings, and even after Richard battled alcoholism for years, they both reached out for help when they needed it most. A simple phone call put them in touch with a trained professional from the VA. If you know of or are a veteran in need, make the call.
Welcome back to Community Uplift. I'm Denise Smith, joined by a powerful panel of local leaders who are guiding the aid of our local businesses. On behalf of the Divine Nine Coalition and Omega Psi Phi, it is our pleasure to present these 3 outstanding organizations to discuss how they are helping minority businesses move forward in the new environment. Please welcome Sharon Pender, CEO and President of Capital Region Minority Supplier Development Council, David Harrington, CEO and President, Prince George's Chamber of Commerce, and David Iannucci, President and CEO of the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. Welcome to Community Uplift.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, we are in some very interesting times here with the business climate within the middle of this pandemic. And we have these great organizations here who are designed to aid and advocate on behalf of businesses. Ms. Pender, what does your organization do and how are you aiding businesses in this current climate that we're in?
Okay, thank you for the question, Denise. And how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Great. Capital Region Minority Supply Development Council is actually a 47-year-old organization. And our goal in life, our mission in life is to connect competitively viable minority businesses with the corporate or private sector. In our case, because we sit in the biggest seat of government, our portfolio also extends to the federal, state, and local government. And so we certify businesses and then we match them to those members to ensure that they integrate our businesses into their supply chain. In addition to the Capital Region Minority Supply Development Council, we also operate 2 centers funded by the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency. So we have the MBDA Business Center, Washington, D.C., and we also have the Federal Procurement Center, which is the only one of its kind in the country funded by the U.S. government. And so that's what we do in terms of those assets and resources we bring to minority businesses. You asked a question about during these COVID times, right? I think that was your follow-on question. What function do we perform? Is that the question, Denise? I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah. So the question is, how are you helping small businesses during the pandemic?
Okay. Given what we do in terms of our business and resources, is that we provide advocacy and support to businesses as well as certification. And so I'm going to use that overused word during this crisis. We pivoted. And we pivoted to the point that we had to look at our services that we provided and then take a look at how do we then quickly adjust to helping our businesses in this particular pandemic, which is like none other in history. And so the kind of things that we were doing is providing support with the access to capital and the access to opportunity, with the focus on helping our businesses understand, for example, how to do business with the federal government in times of disaster, as an example. We created a pandemic newsletter focusing on information, because we were all on overload, we still are, focusing on that information that is paramount for minority businesses to know, and then we produce some webinars as well.
Okay, great. Mr. Iannucci, how are you today?
Nice to see you. Thank you. Great to be here.
Good. Okay, can you tell us about the Economic Development Corporation?
The Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation is a 501 organization, but we are the chief Prince George's County connection with the business community in this county. We advocate for businesses. We introduce them to tools, processes, regulations, incentives, and we regularly promote the county throughout the United States and even the world as a great place to do business. One of the reasons that Prince George's County has led the state of Maryland for job growth for more than 5 years, leading all 24 jurisdictions. And we're real proud of that. Of course, that's pre-COVID, and we're all, like the rest of the nation, hurting badly from that. And we're seeing many of our industry sectors, restaurants and retail and hotels, pay a tough price during this current crisis. But using Sharon's word, we've pivoted to heavily focus on supporting those businesses that are hurting most through a number of really important programs, and I can those when the right time is.
With the businesses in Prince George's County, specifically to the businesses in Prince George's County, how badly has the pandemic impacted those minority businesses in the county?
Well, without doubt, businesses run by people of color have suffered greater than overall businesses, partly because if you look at the sectors, you see a higher employment of African Americans and Latinos in the hospitality industry, in the restaurant industry, so the unemployment numbers are terrible. And that's one of the most important priorities of Ms. Alsobrooks, our county executive, is to deal with that. But this is a nationwide economic crisis, and Prince George's County, with our demographics and our strong business community, our strong minority business community, we're feeling that pain very, very strongly, unfortunately. And that's one of the things that keep us up at night, trying to make sure we have resources and programs to support our very important business community.
Sure, sure. David Harrington, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Good, good, good. Tell us about the Chamber of Commerce.
Well, the Chamber is a consortium of businesses and members. We have about 700 right now and growing even in this pandemic. They're sticking with us. And what we do is provide three things. We provide advocacy in a way of making sure that the right laws are in place so businesses can access public procurement and private procurement. We provide learning to make sure that businesses are really being nimble around changing their values and changing their business propositions so that they can take advantage of what's available. And then networking. We connect business with business so that they can profit off of relationships. For us, following up on David and Sharon, the pandemic has hit minority businesses harder. We know at the national level, there's a prediction that 44% of Black businesses will shut down. That is a high number. That is a loss of wealth. So that's why we call ourselves the voice of wealth creation, because we cannot afford to have that wealth just be lost, and that would be lost for generations. So I'm going to anticipate your next question is, what do we do for businesses, particularly in this pandemic?
Yes.
Similar to what Sharon mentioned, we provide webinars. We provide connection to banks. Practically every bank in Prince George's County is a member of the Chamber. And through the payroll protection program, you have to go through your bank to be able to access those dollars. And we provide direct assistance to those who are applying for both federal, local, and state funds. We provide them with coaching so that their applications are much more acceptable and they can access those funds the way. But if I had to say one word there's a need, particularly for minority businesses, and one of the reasons why we've had trouble accessing some of these dollars is capital. We have to create then a better capital scheme for our businesses so that then they can stay afloat. Without that, then those numbers of 44% will certainly be realized.
David Iannucci, I'm hearing good things, even though during dark times, good things about the county has really stepped up to try to aid some of these businesses who are hurting from the pandemic. We've got some resources that are available to small businesses, right?
A really perfect question. The county executive and the county council have allocated $20 million of federal CARES funds that Economic Development Corporation and our sister organization, FSC First, are doing. So we are putting out $20 million in grants to the Prince George's County business community. We had over 915 applications, and it was frankly a much simplified application process compared to the SBA. The average grant is about $35,000. You have to, what we weigh is how many Prince George's County citizens are employed, what the effect of COVID has been. The largest grant is 100, the smallest is about 2,500, but $35,000 in grants, not repayable to businesses. So far, we've hit about $14 million of the $20 million that we've been able to allocate. We're working our way very professionally through that backlog, if you will, but doing about 60 or 70 applications a week, a very, very serious process. The actual approval rate is 94%.
Wow.
Once the company gets their documents in and answers the questions that we ask. Also a new program we're about to start. It's called Emerge Stronger. One of the lessons we've learned from the COVID epidemic is, frankly, that some of these businesses were not prepared for an emergency. Think of what you would do if your house was on fire or if there was a hurricane. What would you grab if you had to run out the house in 15 minutes? Well, unfortunately, some of the businesses ran out of their building and they left everything behind. So when it comes to supplying their tax return, or just basic documentation or their licensing, they're struggling. And that's been the really hard part of the process is businesses we desperately want to help simply have not been able to answer basic questions. A whole training program to a CEO boot camp like David Harrington. We're going to focus on capital, access to capital, and also provide some mentorship opportunities, because that's one of the most important lessons we have learned is businesses sometimes, again, they ran out of the house when it was on fire and they left everything behind.
Yeah. Sharon, is there any data on the number of Black and minority businesses that have had to close since the pandemic began?
I don't have that data on hand. I think that there is an effort to, and I don't know if anyone on this call does, I know that there's an effort to collect what that the impact of that data is, and that's done in conjunction, in my opinion, with not only COVID, the impact of COVID, but also the impact of what we're seeing with the impact of the civil unrest as well. And so that combination of the environment has some impact, and that data is actively being collected.
Yeah. Do we know what I hear different numbers out there. Some people say 45% of the businesses that have had to close their doors are not going to reopen. And then I've heard it's 60%. What is the number?
Well, I'm looking at an article right now from National Geographic, and the headline there says more than half of Black-owned businesses may not survive COVID-19. I think the county executive is quoted in this article, but I don't know if anyone else has the answer to that question.
No, I would say that Sharon's on point. I've heard 44 to 50% as well will not open up. But that goes to the point, I think, that David Iannucci said, which is absolutely right. And that's what we've tried to do, and I'm sure Sharon has tried to do the same thing, is before they get to David's program, we try to help them with getting their tax information, getting their books in order, getting all that in order, so that then David can go out and, cut the check for them.
And the beauty is this, in my opinion, so we have the full gamut of businesses in terms of industry, just to look at the specific industries, as well as where their current revenues are. And so I think the Washington Business Journal just did something today, I believe, about the retail business, and one of our minority businesses was reported to in it as well. And so industry perspective, I think, is impactful as you look at this data, and then where people were pre-COVID is impactful as well.
If I could just get each one of you to just give us a resource or a place for businesses, small businesses who are struggling, where they can go to for help. Ms. Pender.
Well, I would say just come to our website. I think if that's a point of information, which is www.crmsdc.org. And from there, we can kind of branch. And if there's something that we can help with, we certainly will.
Okay. Mr. Harrington?
Come to the Chamber website, princeggeorgeschamber.org. And we have a direct program with the Small Business Administrator where we provide you counselors, direct counselors, so that then those applications will be much more apt to funding than if not. So you can come to the Chamber and we'll be happy to help you.
Okay. And Mr. Iannucci?
Yes, our Economic Development Corporation, pgcedc.com, pgcedc.com. There's data on there about federal programs, state programs, Prince George's County programs, links to the Chamber of Commerce and private sector data, also all the various executive orders we're all trying to understand and sort through about what can be open and what can be closed and so forth. So pgcedc.com.
All right, we'll leave it there. And I want to say thank you to our panel guests, Sharon Pender, David Harrington, and David Iannucci. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Up next, the last few months have seen higher than average unemployment rates in the county. The numbers are nearly double the county's long-term average of 5%. Many families are struggling to keep food on the table. We've got the Social Action Co-Chairman of Gamma Pi, Ike Staten, and Tony Kelly here to talk about the chapter's food drives and more. Find out the schedule for upcoming food drives and how you can donate. Coming up next on Community Uplift.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Welcome back to Community Uplift. Today we're talking all things COVID-19, and joining us are the Social Action Chairman of Gamma Pi, Ike Staten and Anthony Kelly. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
So, Ike, can you walk us through the county food drive and what the schedules are like?
Well, the county food drive is a week-long process. It takes roughly around 5 to 7 days to get this. So when we start, we find a location, then we go through a logistical, so to find parking, making sure that we have enough ample parking spaces and enough space for us to spread out to prevent the COVID. And we also look then to purchase the food from Galilee Baptist Church, who is one of our partners that we purchase the food through. Once we do that, we will bag the food up for that normally on a Friday, if the event's on a Saturday. And then Saturday, we will set up the distribution staging sites. And from there, we will organize the cars that come in to the parking, to wherever the area is. We'll organize the cars, make sure that we have a single smooth procession, and then we do a kind of a contactless distribution. So what we ask is that they unlock their trunk, place the food inside the trunk before, we'll shut it ourselves, and then they can drive off.
Okay. Anthony, how many of these are the chapter planning to have?
Well, we want to make this an ongoing effort. Actually, we've gone through 4 months of this effort, and it's been very successful. We've been able to facilitate giving food over to 7,600 families, actually. And over the count, our final count has been actually 30,400 persons who have received benefits from this effort. So this is something we want to continue to make it ongoing.
Okay. How often? When are they held?
Normally they're held during the beginning part of the pandemic. We started in March. So we had it pretty much every week, almost every weekend. We had one going. And after a while, after things started opening up in Prince George's County and the state of Maryland, it seemed to have died down. So we're now maybe every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks.
Okay. How are the food drives structured in terms of, and what did Gamma Pi lend to this effort?
Gamma Pi, pretty much in the beginning, we were the ones who were funding a lot of these programs through our Friendship Charity organization. And along with that, we gotten partnerships from State Farm. We have gotten partnerships from Galilee, various other organizations that want to participate. Even we had parents, kids, community just walk up and just donate money just to see the cause and see what we're doing, the efforts that we're doing.
Are they in different locations, or is it the same location every time?
No, we actually tried to move around. We tried to facilitate the whole PG County area. So we have been in Suitland, we've been in Clinton, we've been in Upper Marlboro. And so wherever the need is, we've become very popular in our logistics.
Okay. Ike Staten and Anthony Kelly, great to have you all on today's show. Thank you for all the great work that you're doing, and we look forward to hearing about future food drive.
Thank you. We look forward to talking to you as well.
Thank you to all of the guests of Community Uplift. That's all for today's show. If you miss anything, don't worry. Get information on today's show or find out how you can get involved at gammapi.org. Also connect with us on Twitter at GammaPiQs and on Facebook at Gamma Pi Chapter. We're also on YouTube. Just search Gamma Pi Chapter. For all of us here at Community Uplift, thank you for tuning in to today's show. I'm Denise Smith, and we'll see you next time on Community Uplift.